Yeah, we're at the Digital Insurance Agenda in Amsterdam. I'm talking to Constantijn van Oranje, who just gave an introduction at the conference. You're talking here to about 700 executives of the incumbents and of the startups. What do they have to add to each other?
Well, I think, like in many industries, the startups come much more from a digital technology perspective, and they have found new ways to deliver the same services or better services, but to scale up in a world that is largely international or global. You actually, or they can benefit a lot from the existing incumbents, and the incumbents can benefit a lot from the innovations that come out of the startup. So if they find ways to collaborate and listen to each other, and don't focus only on the one on disrupting the other and the other to crush the startups, then I think there's a lot of win-win to be achieved.
Yeah, there's a lot of collaboration, and if you can basically improve the incumbents, that's way more interesting for the whole world, because we need to go at scale. Okay. Then secondly, you say we need to respect each other culture. I mean, after you came a startup which talked about the people who were uninsured and unbanked, and talking about the 4 billion people. How do you see that in practice if you talk about the incumbents working together with the startups?
I think a lot of the benefits from working with a startup is if you actually allow them to remain startups, or at least allow them to be entrepreneurial, to pull them into a largely bureaucratic organization that is focused on optimization is mostly very unhelpful. On the other hand, a startup can't expect an incumbent to be agile, flexible, So
they're all trying now. They're all having agile teams, and they're all working in a new way.
Yeah, and they have bean bags, and they have espresso machines. But I think, and I think they are trying, but it's very difficult. If you have 20,000 people company that you have to turn around, often the leaders are not trained to do it, because you have to be a change manager, you have to be a leader in the traditional business, and then you have to kind of manage this transformation as well. So you have to get people to do something they haven't done before, they maybe haven't been hired for, and you yourself as a leader haven't been in that role. So it is really challenging, and therefore there's a lot of opportunity to learn from each other, and to be open, and to be surprised by each other, but also to take each other seriously. So very often you hear from the incumbents, oh, this disruption, it's little startups and so, but it's the concepts that they, so it's maybe not the startup itself, but it's the concept. And you heard this as well, that in other industries where it could be in print, for instance, or print media, where I say, well, this is small. Yes, but if the customer becomes accustomed to not paying for their content, then that company might not disrupt you, but the movement will. So you'll have to deal with that new reality, and that only comes if you are open to that, to the change, and to the people that are driving that change.
So I think if we look at the startups on the startup side, they also need to change quite a bit, right? I mean, they have an idea, they have a technical idea, they have a technical improvement, and they need to learn how to work with big companies and inside. You're now trying to set up to help improve the ecosystem we've built in Holland to help these work together. How do you see that developing in the next 1 or 2 years?
Well, I think the Netherlands is a very organized country, and sometimes we're a bit over-organized, and we have an organization for every sub-interest, and if you want to innovate, you need to have, basically you find innovation at cross sectors or sections of sectors, also of disciplines. So where we can, we also maybe need to open up a bit. So it's not just organizing more, but it's maybe organizing less. It is about thinking again, and this is, I think, this for me is the most interesting thing about the whole startup movement, is really rethinking values and why are we doing this. If you've got completely new ways of doing things, it's not really about the ways, but it's what you want to achieve. And we had the old ways, and we have the old companies, and we have our old regulation, and now we see that there are new ways. You have to think, can we do the same thing or better with less? And I think there are a lot of opportunities there. So that's what kind of keeps me drives me.
Less rules and less regulations in a country as the Netherlands. I mean, that is also.
Yeah, but I think what's really good in the Netherlands, it's we are a very mature economy with with main players in nearly all of the different disciplines sectors. So we've got everything. We've got the universities, we got the science, we got the infrastructure. You know, you can brag for days about what all of the good that's there. The only thing is we need to now kind of pull that together, and we have to scale it and allow new ideas to come to the fore. Also, we have to let go of our sometimes habit to want to equalize everything. So you need to allow people to excel, and allow them to get the speed to excel. And we're still kind of we're not. I would say we're not in the lead yet. We don't have that many entrepreneurs that are scaling at the global level, and that's it's also a matter of ambition.
Our ambition is nice. I saw you in Groningen, where you gave a talk at the hackathon for the blockchain, where a lot of old companies or modern companies, ING, the Rabobank, and then working together very nicely in teams with small companies. Was that an inspiration of how that can work in practice? And can a technology like blockchain, which basically can disrupt or can help everybody to move in a new way, can that really accelerate things?
Well, blockchain is very very tangible, and then that can wake up a lot of people in the industry, I think. Now, it was nice to see there that this hackathon raised very interesting questions, for instance, about pensions. When do you pay a pension? When do you need money? And maybe you don't only need money at the end of your life, but there are other periods where you need money. How much do you pay into the system? Is it only money? Is it also, you could maybe have credits? You take care of people, and then you maybe get some credits that other people take care of you when you're older. So what was nice was that blockchain was the catalyst for rethinking pensions, you know, and who would have thought that?
Identity.
And then you had energy, all kinds of subjects, but just to, as a new frame of thinking, apply to an old industry. We know what we want to get out of it. You know, we want to be supported when we're old, but we might also want to work longer when we're old. And so our pay system is going to be different. Maybe actually we start earning more. I know a lot of people that got out of their job and became a consultant and started earning more when they were pensioned than when they were in their last job. So because it's a consultant fee is different than a salary. So and that can be accommodated, and it's that for now it's not accommodated enough.
Last question. You've worked in big companies, you know, the big, huge companies in the financial industry, I think, and you've now working in small companies. What do you think of the difference in how you operate? What suits you better, or do you like to get them together?
I like independence best. I've set up my own little company, but it's and I actually thought about what kind of vehicle do I need for what I want to do, and do I need to build a company?
What did the company do?
It's consultancy, so you don't need scale. You can do it as you can do it on your own. The question is, do you try to attract other partners? Do you want to grow this? And I didn't feel it was necessary for what I wanted to achieve, and I like my independence. So I worked in big bureaucracies, but always I tried to be in a small team, which had a lot of maneuver to be creative. So when we were working at the European Commission with Neelie Kroes, we had a very, very strong small team, and she was very willing to experiment. So we had a lot of fun together, and so I've always tried to be relatively agile and small, even within bigger organizations.
What is that with the family of Orange? You're very entrepreneurial. Your nephew Bernard is very entrepreneurial, and I've met a lot of people who do a lot of things. Is that a little bit in the culture?
Well, I'm not that entrepreneurial. I mean, not like Bernard. So I like independence. So I could be independent also in other areas. But yeah, I think the good thing is, and it's not just us, but we have a choice. You know, and in our family, there's no expectation, even also by the government, that we do formal roles. You have to kind of find a job. So you can go into banking, you can do all kinds of things. But at a certain point, you'll want to maybe kind of do stuff yourself. Yeah. And Bernard was really, really early, because he did it and he started in his university times, and he's been extremely successful. And I commend him for it. And because he always, I mean, it was a path that was not not walked on before, and he just basically did it, and it's worked out really well for him, and so he kind of set the path for us, I guess, a bit.
Yeah, inspirational. Thank you very much for doing this work. Appreciate it.
Good, thank you.
Okay. Ik ben degene die met Rutger die blockchain-congres